What is up? First live stream of 2024. Hope everybody is doing good today. Jump into first things first. We lost a couple of, motorsports legends, veterans. I'm not super familiar with, is it Gil or Gil de Ferran? He was a IndyCar driver, a two-time champion. Won the Indy 500 in 2003 with Toyota V8 for Penske Racing. So absolute legend over there from what I've heard. But I can't sit here and act like I knew a whole lot about him. I do remember the car now that I've seen it when he drove for Penske in 2003. But of course the one from the NASCAR wars, Cale Yarborough, who's as you look into it, man, his life kind of reads like a Tom Clancy novel, like a Jack Reacher or somebody like that. Just so much crazy stuff. Like he was a fullback that got a tryout for the Washington, Commanders now. They were the Washington football team, and then obviously when he got the tryout, the Washington Redskins got a tryout for them, and then he only ran seven full Winston Cup seasons, or NASCAR seasons. Yeah, Winston Cup. It was Winston Cup back then. He ran 7 full Winston Cup seasons, got three championships all in a row, 4 Daytona 500s, 84 wins, I want to say. Just great. 83 wins. I'll take that back. 83 wins. 319 top 10s, 69 poles. He holds the current record for most poles in a season at 14. Let me look at that up there. But just crazy. And then held political office as a Republican and a Democrat, which is wild. My kind of guy. Like it doesn't matter the party. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. Just be a good person. Treat others the way you want to be treated. So that's pretty cool. What did the guy not do? Like it's crazy. Like it's totally insane. So yeah, man, Cale Yarborough, an all timer. Like he just forget racing. This dude had an all timer life. Like was a car owner. John Andretti drove for him. Just all kinds just super crazy. Jeremy Mayfield drove for him, I want to say, as well in the RCA car. So just insane. And if you look at his numbers, just imagine if he drove more than 8 full-time seasons. That's him and David Pearson, man. David Pearson's the only other person I can think of in that vein, but just crazy, man. He only ran seven full-time seasons, almost 8 full-time seasons. He did miss 3 races in one of those full-time seasons. So just what he was able to accomplish in that time frame is it's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. He could easily have 100+ wins and 7 or 8 championships because the year that he missed 3 races, he still finished 9th in points. So probably would have had a good chance of winning the points there. Anyway, let me jump into what you guys want to talk about because whatever you want to talk about, but just wanted to sort of get that out there front and center. Let's see. I have a question about Cale Yarborough. What was your favorite car he owned or drove? That's from Jim. That's a good question. So I didn't remember him growing up. I knew there was a Hardee's car and I knew there was Cale Yarborough, but I was so young I didn't really put it together. But I do remember the Hardee's car, the 29 and the 28 that him and Dale Jarrett shared, the Oldsmobile. I remember that one, but I remember the 28 Monte Carlo that he drove. So that one sticks out in my mind as one of the all-timers. I love that paint scheme, that orange and white. And Anthony Alfredo, I want to say, redid it when he drove for Front Row his rookie year. So that's a good-looking car. I like that one a lot. I like the Busch, the blue and gold and white Busch beer car. That's probably my favorite Cale Yarborough of all time. I know a lot of people really like the number 11 Holly Farms, but I got to say, as far as all time, those would be 3 of them. But I would say if I had to go top 3, the 27 Valvoline would be 3rd. The orange Hardee's car would be 2nd, and then the Busch beer gold and blue number 11. That would be number 1 for me. That was my all-time favorite Cale Yarborough paint scheme. In between the lanes saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. First live stream of 2024. It is the first live stream of 2024. Mark Barnum, early picks, Chase Elliott, early playoff picks, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, SVG running part-time, but I do think he'll make he's running full-time Xfinity, so I do think he'll make the playoffs in Xfinity. I agree with that. Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs. I like your Ty Gibbs pick there. I'm big on him. Christopher Bell, I've got him, I think, in my final four. Brad Keselowski, I like that pick too. Tyler Reddick, good pick. Martin Truex Jr. for sure. You got to wonder when Hamlin or Truex is gonna hit that age wall. Father Time is undefeated, as Charles Barkley likes to say. Kyle Busch, I like that one. I think I've got Kyle Busch in my final four too. I think I got who did I have? Was it Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and William Byron? I think that was my final four. Chase Briscoe, I like your Briscoe pick. I think someone from Stewart Haas Racing gets into the playoffs as well. Chris Buescher, yeah, I'm strong with you on RFK. It's all going to be dependent on how that RFK or how the Ford Mustang versus the Toyota, the new Toyota Camry body. That's going to be all dependent on who does what. But yeah, solid picks there, Mark. I like them. Camaro 50, Happy New Year to you too, my friend. Cale Yarborough would often visit Harrisburg Elementary in 1975, where I was a student at Harrisburg, NC, with his Busch Beer Cup car on an open trailer. Yes, man, that was. I'm sure they still do it, but they do it a little bit different with the show cars now. They're sort of in a enclosed trailer. Every once in a while, it'll be like a clear-sided enclosed trailer. But yeah, man, I didn't get to see it at elementary school, but when he drove the Hardee's car. I used to love to go to Hardee's. I got the they would have his on an open trailer, like you're saying, the Hardee's car there, and also they would always have these promotional deals. Like I remember I got the number 90 Roadrunner car. That was like a commercial back in the day, and I had an orange plastic Cale Yarborough helmet that had the 28 on it, just a sticker right here, and then a flip down. Thing. It offered you absolutely no protection. It was a novelty helmet, but every time I was on my big wheel or my bike, I put it on. And one day I crashed and actually broke it, and it probably hurt my head more having that thing on than if I hadn't had it on at all. But I think a lot of kids from the 80s had those Cale Yarborough helmets. So I was even though I didn't get to see him. I don't even remember him racing because he was part-time and basically retired by the time I started remembering racing. But I do remember the orange Hardee's car, and I do remember him being like right up there with Richard Petty as one of my favorite guys. So yeah, for sure. Let's see. Happy New Year's, BB, says Delmar Kaufman. Happy New Year's to you as well. Cale's brother-in-law was the custodian at the school at the time, says Jamie Schweitzer. So there you go. That's why he was visiting that one with the full Busch Beer regalia. That's still cool though, man. Just really cool. I wish more NASCAR teams would reach out to like elementary schools and stuff like that and have the show car there. I think that's just like a really cool thing. I'm sure they still do it. I'm not in elementary school, so I don't keep up with that stuff anymore. I had no idea about the political office. Then had to Google. Won a term as a Republican, then won a term as a Democrat. A true politician, says Say Kyle. Yeah, look, my kind of guy, man. Like they're both out to rear end you. So I don't care about either party. Like I said, just go out there and be a good person. He also campaigned. He was friends with Jimmy Carter, so he campaigned for Jimmy Carter to help Jimmy Carter win the presidency. So you can add. I guess political. What are the campaign assistant? He wasn't the campaign manager, but he was a campaign assistant for old Jimmy Carter there. Howdy from the, and that's about as political as I'm going to get. I'm not going to get into any of that stuff. I do have a poll question up. I'm sorry, I forgot to talk about that. Rusty, new year, same old. Forgetting to talk about the poll. Most impressive Cale Yarborough accomplishment tryout for the Washington NFL team. 4-time Daytona 500 winner, 3-time champion in Cup, and in political office while he was also the Cup champion. So yeah, while he was actually holding political office, he was the Cup champion as well. He won office and the title in the same year, I want to say. So that's pretty cool. That's a feat that'll never be accomplished again. Like I said, you could write like a book about Cale Yarborough's life, and it would read like a Tom Clancy novel. Like there's so much packed in there. Pretty crazy. Happy New Year to you, Delmar. Happy New Year to you as well, Chrome Diesel. I'm doing good, and I hope you are too. Howdy from the Great White North. What's up, Robin Marks? What's up, Canada? I hope everybody in Canada is enjoying the new year and had a good Christmas and don't you have a boxing? Is it Boxing Day up there in Canada? I hope you had a good Boxing Day. That's when you go around and punch all your friends in the face, box their ears, right? That's right. Totally made that up. That's wrong. That's what my grandpa used to say. I'm gonna box your ears if you're acting up. He's like, you keep acting up, I'm gonna box your ears. So when I hear Boxing Day in Canada, I always think about that. I'm gonna box your ears, boy. Let's see. Hey, Robin says Mark Barnum. Let's see. And Robin says, what's up to Mark? Bold prediction, Eric Jones, 2024 Cup champion. I don't necessarily hate that prediction. I'm big on Toyota for several reasons. I think the new body, even though it's getting like a lot of hate, I think the new body is really good looking from an aerodynamic perspective. Maybe not aesthetically to a lot of people. I'm in the minority. I think the whole car looks good, period. But and I know most people don't think that. But if you also look at sort of the financial situation right now for Ford and General Motors, from everything that I've seen, doesn't really look great. And although Toyota isn't like necessarily destroying the world right now, they're not in the same financial situation that Ford and General Motors seem to be in. So I'm leaning toward Toyota having a huge season. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility for me to see Eric Jones sort of pull like a Martin Truex Jr. and be one of the satellite Toyota teams that could possibly win a championship. So I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. I'm big on Eric Jones this season, and I think he'll do. I think Legacy will do really well, and I think Eric Jones will do really well. I'm also big on SHR. I think SHR makes a comeback this season too. And I wish I'd seen that post that they made before I made my video with the predictions, where SHR was talking about we're gonna show everybody that we're back or whatever, because I didn't even see that when I made that prediction. So it's crazy it lined up like that. But yeah, I think SHR has had enough of being the butt of everybody's jokes, and I think they're going to come back with a vengeance this season, a la what RFK did last season. Why do some? Do you know why some drivers did not compete in all the races back in the 60s and 70s, says Ben? Yeah, I don't know for sure. It seems like the championship back then wasn't as big of a deal. Some guys just were more interested in sort of what was, I think, referred to as an outlaw schedule, where you just pick the races that paid big money and stuff like that. The championship, it was the Cup Series was like sort of a fairly new idea back then. You got to remember that was some of Winston's early years, so it wasn't as big a deal as we think about Cup championships now. So that was part of it, and then the other part, what I think, in my opinion, has to be funding. I think even back then, like some guys just didn't have funding to run all the races. It was very much a catch a ride as you can for a lot of guys. And the Wood Brothers, they didn't really care about the championship. So that's part of the reason the Wood Brothers only ran like partial seasons and stuff like that. So it's always, I don't know exactly why, but those are just some of my guesses as to why back then. Another disappointing way to start the season. First track time of the regular season will start with qualifying session, then the duels, then the practice on Friday. Says Chrome News. Obviously talking about the Daytona schedule. Yeah, that's it's very similar to what it was last year. So I guess I'm not going to go like super hard on it, but you get two practices after you've already qualified and had the duels. And to me, take one of those practices away in the Cup Series, at least. Take one of those practices away and give it to be before qualifying to at least shake the cars down. I don't understand their logic behind it. You can even do it the same day as qualifying if you don't want to do it on that Wednesday. If Wednesday is the stickler for saving money or whatever they're going to say as to why they're doing it. But yeah, it further waters down what used to be speed weeks, and now it's more like speed days. It's down to speed days. It's not even a full week. So unfortunate. I'm not going to sit here and go super like cry my eyes out about it, because it's just the way it's been trending for a long time. But I do miss having 2 weeks of speed weeks, because I think that makes the Daytona 500 more of an event. If you look at the Indy 500, they have Carb Day, they have all this build up to it. Now the Daytona 500 is more or less, aside from the duels and the well, you don't even have the Clash anymore. Aside from the duels, there's no real huge build up to the Daytona 500. It gets less special, at least to me, from my perspective. it gets less special and doesn't feel like as big and as important of an event each year, because you just don't have that full, not even a full speed week. Whereas back in the day you had speed weeks. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I wish they would. I wish they would at least have one practice though, just to get back to your point about the not even getting a practice before you qualify. I think Cale owned some Hardee's restaurants, says Delmar Kaufman. So yeah, that's another aspect. I couldn't find any statistics on it, but Cale Yarborough, aside from all that stuff, was a really, really good businessman too. I know he owns a Honda dealership down in Timmonsville, and I think you're right. I think he did own quite a few Hardee's restaurants. So he was. Like I said, man, just like he lived a crazy life. Like if you wrote a book about it, you would be like, oh, this is a fiction book, except he actually lived that life. So it's he's one of the most interesting people. Forget about just racers. He's just one of the most interesting people that I've ever read about or come across. Super cool guy. I wish I was a little bit older so I could have at least like physically with my eyeballs seen him. I guess I did watch him technically, but I wasn't old enough to remember it. But I wish I'd seen him race when I could remember it. But I have watched plenty of YouTube videos. But you know what I mean. It's not the same. You actually want to be at the racetrack and sort of see it. At least I do. What's up, everybody? BB has the NASCAR strike across YouTube affected you? Says one wise guy. Actually, it has not, because even back in the day, everybody's like, "Oh, you should put race car clips in your videos. It would make your videos better." I was like, "Nah, like they could DMC me at some point." So every clip I put in there has had context to it. So I haven't and I haven't added too many of those clips to be totally honest with you. So luckily the strikes didn't hit me, because I sort of foresaw a day when NASCAR would be like, "All right, that's enough of you guys using our content for free." I knew something like this could potentially happen in the future, so I was at least knowledgeable enough early on in the YouTube deal that it hasn't affected me. But I feel terrible for the guys like Brock Beard. I think Slapshoes got affected. Slapshoes did get affected by it because he made a video about it. I feel terrible for those guys, because what they're doing was actually totally within terms of service, in terms of fair use and stuff like that, because they're doing transformative content with the stuff they're using. So it's super unfortunate that they were playing by the rules and they still got hit by it. I think all of them got overturned, but it stinks. I know Elite Precision, he got hit with a bunch of them, which is unfortunate because his content's transformative too. If you're not familiar with Elite, give him a follow or check his channel out. And if you like his channel, give him a follow. I think he's really good, super underrated YouTuber. But yeah, I hate it. It hasn't affected me. But I do hate it that those guys, because I feel like they're all playing within the rules, and they got hit with it too. Let's see. How were the holidays for you, Bloomberger? They were pretty good. I got nothing to complain about. I pretty much got everything I could ever wish for in life. So it's just really fun to spend time with family and talk to people you don't, or talk to family members you don't get to see as often as you'd like to. So really cool. And every year there's more and more little children running around. So that's really cool too. We'll see. Team Penske will have their third Cup championship in a row this November, I think, with Joey Logano. So my buddy that's a big Joey Logano fan, he's like, I can't believe you didn't put Joey Logano in your Final Four. It's an even year. And if you look at even years, Joey Logano runs really good in even years. So I didn't. And he's absolutely right about that. So he's sort of like the San Francisco Giants in baseball. They were really good on even years or something like that when they were winning their championships or whatever. So Joey Logano is sort of like that. If it's an even year, you got to watch out for the 22. So I didn't factor that in, but I should have thought about it. My Out of the Groove Party Bus diecast is in the mail today. Woo Woo says, "Say Kyle, that's what's up." So I got a email. I forgot that I ordered one. I tried to get in and order one so my name would be on the car, but I got in too late. Everybody else got in before me. But I totally forgot that I ordered one anyway, just a regular diecast. So I do have one on the way as well. So I'm super stoked about that myself. I think Jeremy Mayfield started off his rookie year in Cale's 98 Fingerhut Ford. That's what it was, Fingerhut, because John Andretti was the RCA deal. Super cool. And Cale Yarborough sold that team, and it only ran like 1 year after that. And then they shut down shop basically. Jeff Bodine and somebody else drove the year that it shut down, and it was not a good team then. Let's see. Bumblebee, what's up? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Mark Barnum saying, what's up to EB? Toyota is going to be probable for the rest of the series. It's going to be a problem for the rest of the series in 2024, says one wise guy. Yeah, I agree with you. Mark Barnum taking the opposite approach there, saying rest in peace, Toyota. Jesse saying, I just don't see it from SHR. I think outside of Briscoe, their driver lineup is relatively weak. SHR's 4 drivers have a combined 1 Cup win. They have a long way to go. That's a fair criticism. I just have faith in the program. I actually have faith in their drivers, even though they're not as accomplished as you pointed out. I think that they can get the job done, and one of them will break out. Other than Chase Briscoe, I feel like Chase Briscoe has already established himself. But I think another one other than Chase Briscoe will break out this season. Which one that will be, we don't know, but I think one of them will eventually break out. If not this season, then maybe next season. Say Kyle saying, what's up to EB? 2024 Toyota Diecast is out yet. I don't think I've seen one yet. I'll have to go check that. I did find a YouTube channel that was pretty interesting. They got a diecast repair channel, so I'm gonna have to start watching some episodes of that. Is it time for the sport to open up sponsorship like cookies, Mary J dispensary, OF? Would that dramatically pump up viewership? So as far as that goes, three Chi or 3 Kai, I can't remember exactly how it's pronounced. I always forget that one for some reason. I think it's 3 Chi. 3 Chicana. I think it's 3 Chi. So they're on Kyle Busch's car. So they've opened it up as far as that goes. So the Mary J is in there. OF, I want to say OF was on one of Natalie Decker's cars or in the truck series. So OF is the OnlyFans itself sponsored a car. However, I don't think if you're talking about OnlyFans models or something sponsoring a Cup car, I don't know. That's sort of a gray area. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I want to say there was an Adam and Eve car one season as well. So it's up to NASCAR. It's up to their discretion. So they're super weird about who can sponsor what. It's more like Speed Half Week, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't feel like a big event like it used to feel. In fact, I feel like, I honest to God, feel like they spend more money pumping up the LA Coliseum and Chicago than they do spend money pumping up the Daytona 500, which is just crazy in my opinion. Because IndyCar, they don't spend more money than anything pumping up the Indy 500. The Indy 500 is always their big race that they pump up. But that's just how I feel about it. I don't have any actual numbers. It's just a opinion, I guess I should say. My favorite Cale Yarborough story is him telling the one about having a yard full of drowned chickens after a big flood came through South Carolina one year. He told that story at Daytona one year, and it was hilarious. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think he owns some Holly Farms. Getting back to the business deal, I think he owns some of Holly Farms as well too. I think every sponsor that was ever on his car, he owned a piece of it because he was just such a good business person. Like it's insane. Like the dude lived a crazy great life. Let's see. Cornfed covers. What up, everybody? What's up, Cornfed? Hey, Kyle says Bumblebee. Call me a sadist, but I have no. Call me a sadist, but I love no practice. I enjoy the Hamlin losing the ballast, Larson's team forgetting the radiator cover, which is inappropriate. Say, Kyle, how dare you say such a thing? In Talladega, just goofy stuff. I just hope it's not my favorite driver. Remember that time when who was it? Joey Logano ran into Byron there? That was funny too. I'm just playing with you. Anyway, in between the lanes, I could be wrong with this, but how come? In all seriousness, it does bring a certain level of chaos, as you're pointing out, because you remember was it the 50 car for Connor Daly? Didn't they forget to unbolt the shock or something like that? They had one of the shocks like bolted down or something like that, and they eventually had to catch a caution and come in and get that shock loosened up. So yeah, it does make for a certain level of chaos. I don't know if you want chaos at 200 miles per hour though. So I don't know. Maybe not at this track, but yeah, for sure. I could be wrong with this, but how come Martin Truex Jr. Win is considered boring? I think Brett Griffin said that one time on Door Bumper Clear. Again, I could be wrong. So as far, I love Door Bumper Clear. They do cool stuff. It's great. But a lot of times, a lot of the stuff that comes out of their mouth is strictly for clicks and views. So I'm pretty sure that that's, in my opinion, that's probably all that was really actually about. Get people riled up, driving traffic or something like that. That's just my opinion on stuff like that. I feel like the most special, and they know what they're doing. I feel like the most special is now the Southern 500, not the Daytona 500. As far as finishes go, I would say the Southern 500 has had some better finishes for sure. Also, rest in peace, Gil de Ferran, two-time IndyCar champion, 2003 Indy 500 winner. He's the fastest man ever on a closed course as well. 2000 at Auto Club, 241.428 miles per hour. So, yep, that is for sure. I did touch on him at the very beginning of the stream, but if you missed that, he was the other legend that we lost along with Cale Yarborough on the IndyCar side. Not super familiar with him, but I know a lot of people. I just saw when it happened. I saw a lot of people talking about him. But definitely a legend in his own right. Two-time kart champion, 2003 Indy 500 winner, and I forgot the fastest driver of all time in IndyCar. Good catch there, B. So she caught that one. Natalie Decker, OnlyFans, Tony Breitinger, Victoria's Secret, Haley Deegan, Monster Girl, No Sid, LOL, says Mark Barnum. So prayers for Cale and Gil's. I'm not even exactly sure how to say his name. I'm going with Gil. Gil's families. Let's see. One Wise Guy. Oh, appreciate you, One Wise Guy. If you want to check out the merch, One Wise Guy has dropped the link right there. Holidays were good. My sister spoiled me with cash, says Mark Barnum. That's a good sister. Good friends. That's a gift you can always use for sure. Let's see. And the Discord, yeah. So if you want to join our Discord server, One Wise Guy has dropped the link there as well. BB, if you want to tell them what we talked about, you can. I need all the love in the world right now. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't know if you wanted me to share it or not. But just in case you didn't know, B has fibromyalgia, and that is, I guess, a neurological disease. I don't know anything about medicine, so I don't want to get much further than that. But unfortunately, she's really going through it right now. So if you'd like to lift her up in your thoughts and prayers, that would definitely be much appreciated. Because it's I had a friend that had it, and she was ironically she was a nurse too. And it's just it really, like, some days you'll be like totally fine, and then but when you have flare-ups, it's just it's really painful and debilitating. So if you just want to lift up be in your prayers, keep her in your thoughts, just send her good vibes, whatever you may believe in. That would be much appreciated because she does a lot of good stuff for the channel here, and she's overall just a really, really good person, in my opinion. So if you want to just keep her in your thoughts and prayers, yeah, I think that would be a good thing to do. Let's see here. In Between the Lanes says San Francisco Giants won in 2010, 2012, and 2014. So there you go. They're even. They're an even year team, just like Joey Logano in the 22 car is an even year team. I predict KB doesn't make the playoffs, but Ty Gibbs does. Jamie Swites are getting spicy. That would be spicy for sure. That little bit of a rivalry that I like to have fun with, but some people do take super seriously. So I had to stop having fun with it because some people were starting to take it seriously last season between Kyle Busch and Toyota, and of course Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs. But yeah, that would add a layer to it if that was what happened. I think me personally, I think Ty Gibbs stands a good chance of making the playoffs, and I think I've got Kyle Busch in my Final Four, so obviously I think he's going to make the playoffs as well. Skip the ads there. Who gets Rookie of the Year, says Mark Barnum. I think Carson Hocevar has a really good chance of winning. But if Carson Hocevar doesn't win because he's so streaky, I think he's going to have a lot of DNFs. I'm going to give the edge to Josh Berry because I like the equipment that Josh Berry's in just a little bit better than that Spire equipment. Now, I know Spire is getting help from Trackhouse, but until I see how much actual help they're getting from Trackhouse, because we've heard this song and dance before with Rick Ware Racing getting help from RFK and Stuart Haas and whoever. We've seen this song and dance before. So until I see exactly how much help they're going to get from how much help Spire is going to get from Trackhouse, I'm going with Josh Berry to win it, unless Carson Hocevar or Zane Smith can sneak in there and get a win. The Camaro, I think, will be one of the 5 that struggles the most, says Jamie Schweitzer. I agree with you 100%. I think all the Camaro teams will struggle at least by midway in the season, if not for the full season. So, except for Hendrick, I think Hendrick will always have it figured out somehow, some way. So that's just the way I feel. Just like there's a handful of teams. I feel like you can give Hendrick, you could give Penske, and you could give Joe Gibbs Racing, and at this point, actually, I would say Trackhouse. Those 4 teams, you could give them a Hyundai or a Kia or whatever, and they would figure out a way to make that thing competitive. So I have faith that all those several teams right there, no matter what the odds are, they're always going to be somewhat competitive. I watched the NBA and NFL on Christmas Day, says In Between the Lanes. I think a lot of people did, and I think last night everybody was watching the college football game. Next Monday is there we go. You jumped right into it. National championship game between Michigan and Washington. Yeah, I got Michigan. I got Michigan winning that one. But who knows? Who knows? A lot of people had Michigan not having a chance against Alabama. I didn't see it that way. I think the SEC, aside from like 4 teams, is not as good as everybody makes them out to be. But those 4 teams make up for the other teams not being as good as people make them out to be. Don't get me wrong; those 4 teams, Georgia, Alabama, and whoever. There's like 4 teams in the SEC that are legit, and the rest of them are just sort of they're good teams, but they're not like overly the greatest of all time. I'll throw Tennessee in there because Danny B. Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, and Florida some years. I've been doing football and pool tournaments over the holidays, says Mark Barnum. Good old pool tournaments, man. A lot of people get stoked about those. I was terrible at pool. I played 8-ball, but I did it in a really crappy way that irritated people. I used as many balls to push as possible, just to knock the 8-ball in and win, because I wasn't playing for money. So that was the only pool I ever played, and it really irritated all the pool snobs. Let's see. B, sending positivity your way. Love your rock tweets, says Cornfed Covers. So there you go. Cornfed sending the love to B. What's your opinion of KB flipping last week? Do you think RC will let him continue running dirt? I think Richard Childress will let him keep running. I think Richard Childress is a racer and he understands. So at the end of the day, I think the only thing that would stop Kyle Busch running dirt is a sponsor stepping in and saying you can't run dirt. But since Lucas was sponsoring him, I think everything's going to be cool, and I think Richard will understand. B saying thank you to Cornfed. As a HMS in the 5-car being my number 2 car on the track, I didn't enjoy that Talladega for him, but I do enjoy the chaos. Yeah, I was just having fun with you, my man, for sure. Like I said, I've got William Byron in my Final 4. So, like I said, even though I think Chevrolet will struggle, I think Hendrick will be the outlier, just like the year that Chevrolet struggled and Hendrick was the outlier when Chase Elliott won his championship. I think we could see something similar like that this season, except obviously I'm picking William Byron to be the guy in the Final 4 this time. EB will have a prayer for you tonight, says Say Kyle. So there you go. Keep sending the love to EB because definitely it's a tough thing to deal with. I've actually got a little bit of experience with it firsthand, not having it, but just watching what it did to somebody else. Let's see. Say Kyle, they told me today I can't go back for 2 to 3 months at least. I'm having what's called microfrequency ablation done. It's a treatment. So there you go. I'm not sure what that is, but hopefully that helps out quite a bit, and we can overcome it because we're all praying for you. Be prayers, lady, says Mark Barnum. So yeah, we're all definitely praying for you and keeping you in our thoughts here. We'll have a prayer for you, eBay, tonight. Keep it strong, says Chrome. Hopefully it'll help me long term and I can go back, says Bumblebee. In the meantime, I'm getting sick pay and have to lay around the house. So there you go. So hopefully you can get as comfortable as possible with what's going on and make the most of your time at home. Or figure out something. I don't know. I was when I was down with the flu, I was going crazy because I wasn't used to being in the house that much. But I don't know. I eventually figured out some hobbies and stuff to do around the house to sort of keep my mind active and not think about being stuck in the house. So hopefully hopefully you deal with being inside the house better than me. I know you got some. I know you got some little babies running around, or babies to you. I know they're in school and stuff like that. But you've at least got that to keep you occupied, so that'll be good. Let's see. Hopefully it's a quick rebound. Says Kyle. I agree. I think Zane Smith is going to be the rookie of the year. Yeah. Here's the deal. As far as rookie of the year goes, anybody you pick to say, hey, I think they're going to be rookie of the year, it's a good pick, man. Zane Smith is really good. Josh Berry is really good, and you guys know I'm big on Josephus, Carson Hocevar. I think he's got, of all those drivers, I think they all have a chance of being elite. But I feel like Zane Smith, his ceiling. I feel like Carson Hocevar, his ceiling is just like super, super far up here. I really like his talent. I think let's see, 48 EB48 praying for you, says Dustin Walker. Thank all y'all. Thank y'all, says Bumblebee. What did you think of Ty Dillon's move to the Craftsman Truck Series with Rackley War? Says in between lanes. I think it's a good move. I hope he can get. It's going to be a 1-year deal because I think they're going to put that guy's son in the car after this year. But I'm hoping he can sort of rejuvenate his career the same way Matt DiBenedetto rejuvenated his career over there. Just go over there and get some positive momentum, get some positive finishes, because all the conversation about Ty Dillon has been so negative. So hopefully he can get some positive things being said about him this year, driving a full Cup Series schedule in a fairly competitive. It's not necessarily the best truck out there, but it is a fairly competitive truck. Is the Matty D rumor going to be true? Says Mark Barnum. As far as I know, Private P, who put the rumor out there, or is the most famous person, I guess. I did see it on some other Reddit forums, but Private P, the one who put the main forum, and they probably got it from him too. Now that I think about it, but he's right more times than he's wrong. So if he said it, I would feel like probably 90% that it's probably going to happen. Has the 4 team announced sponsorship? Says Chris MV. I don't know about. I want to say Harrison's Workwear announced something, but I don't know if they're going to be a sponsor of the car or if they're just sponsoring the driver, Josh Berry. But that's the only sponsor that I've sort of heard about. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the Josh Berry deal plays out. But I think he'll have some sponsor announcements here probably pretty soon, if I'm guessing. I also watched the bowl games as well. Yesterday was the NHL Winter Classic. Is that the one where they play it outside? I'm not super familiar with the NHL, even though it's the only professional team in North Carolina that's won a championship. So maybe I should get more familiar with it. The Carolina Hurricanes used to be the Hartford Whalers. Rest in peace, Hartford Whalers. What do you think of the new Hendrick Motorsports paint schemes that have been released? Says in between lanes, like 50-50, like 50% of them are really, really good looking. And then 50% of them are just like they had potential to be really great, but then they threw something in there to trick the eagle eye that sort of messes them up, like everybody's doing right now. So 50% of them were good. Chase Elliott's Blue Napa is a pretty good take. I like that one. Kyle Larson had a red car, maybe Valvoline, that looked pretty good. What's that stuff called? The Raptor stuff for William Byron, that actually gets better looking every season. It's still not like 100% like good looking Raptor. Like the colors could really be something special. They haven't exactly hit it on the head yet, but the Raptor car gets better looking every year. And I do like the flames. He's got a flame car. It's not DuPont flames. He does have, I think, a DuPont flames car. I think he's got a Liberty Flames car that doesn't look too bad. So some of them are good, some of them are bad. Multiple wins for the 99. Chris, that's probably a fair statement. I feel like every year Daniel Suarez is on the hot seat, but hopefully he comes through this year and gets some wins and makes Trackhouse make a tough decision as to when they bring up SVG. Some real talent in the pool world these days. Fun watching Savannah Easton. She finished the year ranked number 2 female U.S. player. She was 13 years old. How about that? 13 years old and number 2 in the world. That's crazy. That's like Bobby Fischer, except in pool. William Byron will be back back-to-back, the next back-to-back Winston Cup points champion this year. So say Kyle. So there you go. He's keeping up with the Winston Cup points. Obviously, Winston Cup points. Byron would have been your champion last year. David McSwain, what's up, my man? What up, all of them? But 3 championships is big. The big 4 Daytonas were big that time too. Happy New Year's to you and your family. God bless. God bless you too, and Happy New Year's to you, David. Let's see. Need the Bears to knock off Green Bay for my Seahawks to get in. So yeah, NFL had some wild games last week too. The playoffs are heating up. The 49ers have the division locked up, so we got home field throughout the playoffs. I'm just hoping. By the way, I made it to the fantasy football championship game. I've done that 3 out of the 4 years in my league, and we play week 17, so or 18 or whatever it is when everybody benches players. So I'm hoping because I got Debo on the team. I'm hoping that they start Debo and they play him for the full game. Because I need those points to win the championship this year. If you guys remember back in the day, I had the title belt back there. That was the title belt for the fantasy football championship. So hopefully we can put that back in place. Be hoping for the best for you, and we all know you got this, says Jamie Schweitzer, for sure. I think Josh Berry makes the playoffs, has experience with the Cup car, has Rodney Childers as crew chief. You're thinking like I'm thinking like this, like. I like Josh Berry's crew chief, and that to me is a huge thing right now, as big as it's ever been in the Cup Series. So that's why I'm leaning. If Carson Hocevar can't get a win, I'm leaning toward Josh Berry winning the championship because I just feel like he's got the better overall team. But I could be totally wrong. It just depends on how much information Trackhouse is going to give Spire here. I think he gets a win at Martinsville or Bristol, and that's a good point too. Josh Berry at a short track is sort of like Shane Van Gisbergen on a road course. He's almost like a ringer in that situation. He's got so much experience with him. BB, what are the odds for Rookie of the Year? Would you think Berry would be the favorite, then Zane and Carson? That's a good question. I haven't even looked at that, which I should because in North Carolina, that is we can make those wagers legally now. I don't have to drive to Virginia to do my DraftKings anymore. So that's going to be fun. I don't know. I would say it just really depends. Probably as far as Vegas is concerned, it's going to be which one of those drivers is more popular, not which. It's kind of the same reason that Chase Elliott's always got really good odds at racetracks because there's just so many people that are going to bet on him, period. So I would have to say it probably just whichever driver is the most popular with fans right now. So I'd probably say either Carson or Josh Berry would probably be your favorite, rendering you the worst odds is what I mean by the favorite. Rolex 24 at the end of the month. Yep, it's getting to be that time. It's going to be super cool. Still don't know if I'm gonna make it down there yet. It's looking like a no right now, just to be totally honest with you. But if I do make it, I will let you guys know. Edie, if you like retro video games, look into at Games Legends. That will keep you occupied if you have nothing but time. Wonder if Gregson tries to see if NASCAR will let him run for Rookie of the Year this year. So say Kyle. That's what I'm wondering too. Like, it's a case-by-case basis, and we've seen guys with more starts than Noah Gregson get a chance to run for Rookie of the Year. I'm really I've got two schools of thought on that. I think he could apply for Rookie of the Year, and they could push it and make an issue out of it. I don't think he's going to apply for Rookie of the Year and try to push it and make an issue out of it because I think he's just trying to lay low, and he's probably trying to keep eyeballs and controversy off of him. So I think they could probably ask for it, but I doubt that they actually ask for it. But I could be totally wrong. He could want a full crack at Rookie of the Year. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. Yes, the NHL Winter Classic is played outside. That's what I was thinking, and I think that's really cool. As far as that's one of the coolest things the NHL does. It's and college basketball tried to sort of copy it by playing outside on a aircraft carrier. I remember UNC and Michigan State played one year, but it just doesn't have the same feel. But it's really cool when the NHL does it for some reason. So I like it quite a bit. The last time I saw Sterling Marlin and Dale Jr.'s podcast, he didn't look so good. Hope his health is good these days. Says Jamie Schweitzer. He has got Parkinson's. So he is I wish I could give you better news, but he's got Parkinson's and he's not doing super good as far as Sterling Marlin goes. Bumblebee saying thank you, Jamie. Are the odds out for the championship yet? The championship odds are out, and I haven't. I don't remember them, but I will have to. I'll look at them for next stream. I'll have all that stuff pulled up. I feel like Raptor. I don't remember I've got a piece of paper for my DraftKings sign in, so I don't have my DraftKings login, or I would pull it up right now, and you guys could listen to the keystrokes to steal my password. I feel like the Raptor scheme took and get the negative money I've got on DraftKings right now. I feel like the Raptor scheme took a step back this year. New Exalta is Flames of Independence. That might be the one I'm thinking about. Inspired, it seems. Liberty is Control C, Control V from last year. That might be the one. Exalta might be the one I'm thinking about then, where it's got like blue flames in the front, red flames in the back, or maybe vice versa. Whichever one had that. I actually like that car. A lot of people didn't like it. I thought that was a pretty cool car. Aaron Flynn saying great job. HMS sucks. Says like dislike. William Byron should have been added to the Liberty University football team against the Oregon Ducks. Oh yeah, they got worked over pretty good by Oregon. Oregon's a good team. They played around too much this year and didn't take care of business. They could have been easily where Washington's at, but they weren't as focused as Washington. So kudos to Washington. Got the Dogs got the job done. The Lions got robbed. Oh yeah, Mark brought a good point. That's what I was trying to think of. I knew there was some controversy from the NFL. So yeah, the guy for the lineman for the Lions reported as a receiver. Very clear that he reported. Several people reported him as the receiver. They still threw a flag on it and said he didn't report as a receiver, and that messed up the Lions, screwed the Lions there. The Lions probably should have won that game against the Cowboys. So it's crazy. Raptor scheme was good this past year. Says in between the lanes. Yeah, and I feel like it gets better every year. I'm with you on that. Lions did. Mark says one wise guy. Is it true that Bologna Burger is replacing Mike Davis on the Dale Jr. download? I'm not for sure. That's too big of a platform for me personally. I wouldn't want that much. I wouldn't want that much responsibility. That being said, it'll be interesting to see if he replaces Mike Davis at all, and maybe goes like a Joe Rogan route where it's just him and the guest in the studio, or does he replace Mike Davis? And if he does replace Mike Davis, who does he replace him with? That's going to be something interesting to follow in the off season as well. Winter Classic was at Safeco Field in Seattle. It was awesome, says one wise guy. So would a NASCAR owner throw a drink on a fan? Delmar Kaufman, would a NASCAR owner throw a drink on a fan? I'm trying to think of a really rowdy owner. Maybe Tony Stewart if you get him fired up. I could see him maybe doing something like that if he was really mad enough. I'm trying to think of just owners that were cagey like that. I feel like you could piss off Richard Childress, and Richard Childress might do something like that. Like I could see, maybe Tony Stewart and Richard Childress. They would be the only two that come to mind. Where if you got them good and mad, they might do something. I can't think of another owner that would maybe be that passionate, shall we say. BB, are you going to see the new Willy Wonka movie in theaters? So oddly enough, OJ and Toothpaste, I am a big Willy Wonka fan. If you read the book back in the day, it is fairly dark. It is a super dark book. And I like the Gene Wilder version because you can sort of see some of the darkness and craziness in that. And the Johnny Depp version, although not as good as Gene Wilder's version by any stretch of the imagination, Tim Burton, I think that was a rare whiff for him, but it had its moments. And you can still see some of the darkness in it. I feel like this new Willy Wonka is just going to be super kid-friendly, and it's not going to have the darkness in it, which is fine. It'll be a great family film to watch. But that being said, I don't think it's for me. I like the dark Willy Wonka. It makes for better storytelling, in my opinion. But when it comes to free streaming, I'll probably check it out then. And if NHL Stadium Series at MetLife Stadium, New York Islanders versus New York Rangers and Philadelphia Flyers play the New Jersey Devils February 17th and 18th. Hey, so there you go. the Flyers and the Devils. That's going to be that'll be. I feel like that'll be fairly contentious. Are the Islanders good this year, or are the Rangers good this year? I haven't kept up with them. I haven't kept up with the Rangers since like Mark Messier was playing for them. So that's been quite some time. So I don't know. But I know the Flyers versus the Devils. Throw the records out the windows because those fans hate each other. I remember that my buddy in school was a Devils fan, and he didn't like Flyers gear. We'll put it that way. Those new 5 and 24 Valvoline schemes are fire. Says Cale. Yeah. So the Valvoline schemes, that's what I was trying to remember. That might be what I'm thinking of. The Valvoline always does a good job. I can't remember too many bad Valvoline schemes, if any at all. Brentley Nicholson, what's up from Indiana? What's up, Indiana? BB, you get overserved on New Year's night and celebrate till 4 a.m. dancing. I did not. I did the lamest thing ever. I was watching either Netflix or YouTube, and I looked at my watch and I was like, it's 12:05. That being said, they started celebrating around here. There was a lot of pew pew and fireworks going off. They started at like 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. They probably started drinking at 9 a.m. They started at 9 p.m. And they went until about 1:30. After they ran out of ammunition, I'm going to say they spent probably $1,000 worth of ammunition. They then proceeded to get on their four-wheelers and drive around like a bunch of dummies because I know they were overserved because I could hear them, and I don't live close to them. So it was interesting. So the people nearest to me, they celebrated they were big New Year's Eve and New Year's Day fans. That's all I can say about that. So good on them. I don't think they felt good yesterday though. Elite, what's up, my man? Yo, a long time since I tuned into one of your streams. How's it going? Going good, my friend. Going good. We actually we talked about the copyright claim stuff that you're going through earlier. So I was talking about how NASCAR needs to chill out on that stuff. So hopefully you got all that good stuff figured out. And I hope you're doing good, man. If you haven't checked out Elite's channel, definitely check it out because I think if you watch the channel, you'll really like it, and definitely should give them a chance. And of course, if you like it, subscribe. If Cindric doesn't get a win this season, it should be time for a change in the number 2 Penske car. So he's got good numbers at Daytona. So him and Ryan Blaney, I think it's him, Ryan Blaney, and Bubba Wallace, and Joey Logano have the best numbers. So it's looking like a Penske, or 2311 Daytona 500, according to the numbers. I did look at those earlier. Liberty University was undefeated, says in between the lanes. Keyword being was. In between the lanes, Florida State got crushed by Georgia. Yeah, Florida State versus Georgia wasn't really apples to apples, though, because like 23 of Florida State's guys decided to sit out because they're going to the draft or transferring or whatever they're going to do. So, yeah, but Georgia, which was a bold strategy by Florida State to play the third string against Georgia, and you saw the results there. So I'm not taking anything away from Georgia. Because I'm not necessarily a huge Florida State fan. We'll put it that way. BB, did you laugh when the Eagles lost to the Cardinals? LOL. I didn't even see the game live, but when I saw that the Eagles had lost, because I just feel like nothing against Eagles fans or anything like that. I just feel like the Eagles were a little bit overrated this season. I feel like they were a little bit overrated last season as well. So when they lost to the Cardinals, I was like, yeah, if you played in a different division, I think the record would not be what it is. That being said, I think they've got a really good quarterback, so you can never really count them out either. Jalen Hurts, I think Jalen Hurts is the real deal. It was nice as a Gators fan, of course, watching FSU cry about being left out, only to get absolutely mollywopped by Georgia, says Cale. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. That being said, it wasn't. I got to be honest, if nothing else. It was not apples to apples. That wasn't the Florida State team that was undefeated. That was the practice squad that helped the Florida State team be undefeated. What up, Elite? Says Chrome Diesel BB to appear on Pardon the Interruption. PCI, what's up, Canada? Let's see. Elite saying, what's up to Chrome? Delmar, David Tepper should sell the team. He's an embarrassment to Charlotte after he threw a beer at a Jaguars fan. At least sell his share of the team. I agree. That's not a good look. I didn't know that's what you were talking about. were there enough fans at the Carolina Panthers game to throw a beer at anybody? That he's probably got pretty good aim because they were selling. I almost went to my first ever NFL game because they were selling Carolina Panthers tickets 2 or 3 weeks ago for 50 cents. And I almost went, except it was a really crappy weather day, so I didn't go. But I almost went to my first NFL game. The owner, that's just such a bad look. They need to find a way to figure out a way to get him at least some type of sanctions. If you don't take away the ownership altogether, because he did pay for the team, I do believe in rights like that. But they definitely need to get him some help. He needs to get some emotional help. He can't be throwing drinks at fans. Let's see. Michigan earned a temporary fan here, says Bumblebee. So, yeah, I like my high school football team. Our jerseys looked exactly like Michigan's, and it doesn't hurt that their coach is Harbaugh. So, Harbaugh, former 49ers coach, of course. That's it's easy for me to jump on the Michigan bandwagon for a couple games. Luke Combs and Post Malone for the concerts at IndyCar races this year. In Iowa, that's pretty cool. That's going to be IndyCar is on top of it as far as that stuff goes. That's something NASCAR maybe needs to take a page out of and see what they're doing there. Richard's children will throw a fist before he throws a drink. Just ask Kyle Busch. Richard Childress, I got you. I got you. I thought you were talking about the way I read that at first, because autocorrect gets me all the time, so I'm not busting you at all. I thought you were saying like Richard Childress was going to send Ty and Austin Dillon in. You got to fight them before you get to the big boss fight of Richard Childress. That's how my eyes immediately saw that. So there you go. If you're a video game creator, that's the new video game you need to create in the next NASCAR game. That's a side quest. You have to defeat both of the Dillon brothers before you get to the ultimate boss of Richard Childress. Rookies can only run 7 events in any prior season. In that series, a driver can only compete for Rookie of the Year honors once per series, says David McSwain. So you are 100% right, except around when was Blaney a Rookie of the Year? So they changed it. They changed it when and I used to argue the same thing. This is the only reason I know. And I got straightened out by Bob Pockrass, actually. Not directly, but he straightened it up for everybody around the time that Ryan Blaney ran for Rookie of the Year. So 2015 maybe, 2014, 2016, somewhere in there. That's when they changed it. So that's when they changed it. Now NASCAR just looks at it on a case-by-case basis. So basically NASCAR, if they want to make it interesting, they could make him. But here's the thing. I think Noah Gragson just wants to lay low. He knows he messed up. He knows he can't do that with the sponsors he's got. So I think he just wants to lay low and keep the spotlight off of him. And if he gets spotlight, I feel like he wants it to be for his on-track performance and not nothing off the track. And this will be a controversy sort of off the track. So I think he's just going to not press the issue. But that's just the way I think about it. Michigan would be okay if they got rid of their cheating coach, Harbaugh, says Mark Barnum. So Mark Barnum on the other side of that one. On Earth 2 this year, Dale Jr. and Joe Rogan formed their mega podcast, which eventually leads to their successful presidential / vice presidential bid in 2040. So there you go. Say Kyle, he thinks it's going to be Rogan Jr. Who would be president and who would be vice president? That's the real question there. They could between their two podcasts though, they could definitely get the word out there. So last year was like wishing a Post Malone concert at the LA Clash, but funny enough, IndyCar will have a Post Malone concert. Says Chrome Diesel. That's pretty accurate. And didn't Post Malone or somebody do a music video and he had like 2311 in the music video? So you'd think NASCAR would have jumped on that. I love the Dale Jr. download like a lot of people do, but I think his guest list of who he can get and who he wants is drying up. Maybe. There were fewer shows and repeat guests last year. Might be stating the obvious, in just my opinion. Says Fortnite Fusion. That's a good point. I never really paid attention to that, but you could be onto something there. I never really thought about it, and that might be part of the reason why Mike Davis is going behind the scenes, so he can maybe navigate some of those logistics and stuff like that. But I think it's to the point now where he's done enough. He's done enough NASCAR people that he should sort of do like what Joe Rogan has done where he brings in, like, 1 week it's a NASCAR person, and then 1 week you get somebody that's just an interesting guest, a la like Theo Vaughn does. Every once in a while, Theo Vaughn will just have some dude that has an interesting story. He might not even be famous. So I can see Dale Jr. going any of those two routes. Like Joe Rogan used to do nothing but fighters and comedians. Now Joe Rogan does like all kinds of people. So I think that could possibly be the future of the Dale Jr. download. But it's just my opinion. I have no rumors or anything I've seen about that. But you do bring a good point. He did have a lot of repeat guests this season. Thanks, man. Been doing really great lately, and I did the same for years. I threw it to my local station and watched them do the countdown and went to sleep after that. Yeah, it's like I don't know exactly how old you are, but it's like after I want to say after I was like 25, I really didn't care about New Year's like I used to. Like it just became like just another day to me. So it is what it is. At least videos have a good rewatch value. My favorite is the playoff failure video you made, says Chrome Diesel. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. His videos are videos they're not necessarily like news based like mine. Like after a week, my videos are, who cares? But his videos, you can watch them several times, and the more you watch them, you'll find like other little things. They're like, oh, I missed that in the first time I watched it. So definitely, if you haven't visited his channel, check him out. I wish college football games were close games, like the 2 games we had on New Year's Eve. Always seem to be blowouts. Says in between the lanes. Yeah, so actually these two for the championship, those 2 games were actually pretty good. So we got a rare 2 good games. Hopefully the championship game lives up to the same height that those did. Going to be hard. Do a poll, biggest hot seat, the 2, the 21, the 48, or the 99, says like dislike. We can do that. Let's see here. Ending the poll now. So 4-time Daytona 500 winner. Took it for the poll there, and we will start the other poll. Right here. Hottest hot seat. 2, the 21. What did you, let's see, what did you, 2, the 21, the 99, the 48. I got you, 48. I don't feel like the 48 is as hot because they re-signed him to a longer deal. But we'll start it. We'll put the 48 in there. Anyway, since you bailed me out with a poll, because I forgot to even have one up, to be totally honest with you. Let's see. I saw a graphic this morning that said both FSU and Georgia had the same amount of players inactive due to injury, sit-outs, and transfers. Hey, so there you go. I'm going to DM you that. Be ready after the stream. FSU will get no respect. Hey, look, you don't have to argue with me. I don't like FSU either, to be totally honest with you. Miami fans, in my opinion, are more as far as the Florida teams go. Miami fans are typically more fun when they tailgate. And the only reason I know this is because I used to go to Duke football games to watch them get stomped by whoever was until this season they were good, but they'll get stomped again because the head coach left. And so did the quarterback. Anyway, I digress. I really appreciate that, Chrome. Thanks for being a longtime supporter. Says Elite. The Panthers owner got a hefty fine for his actions. Yeah, but fining a billionaire, like, you got to do some form of public humiliation. You got to send them to some type of rehab class. Make them do like a public apology. Super rich people like that they don't care about a fine. Almost slipped up. Let's see. You're welcome, Elite, says Chrome Diesel. 2014, I think, says Jamie Schweitzer. So 2014, I guess. Sounds good. We'll go with that. It was Blaney's rookie year. If not, it was his rookie year on Earth too. Will Fontana still have a NASCAR Cup race in the future, says Chris MV. I think they eventually get that track built. I just don't know what type of track they're going to build. Are they going to stick to making it a short track, or are they going to just make it another super speedway like Atlanta? Noah Gregson likes to order Wendy's, says in between the lanes. He does like to order Wendy's, and it would not shock me to see Wendy's on the side of his car this season. Just like it won't shock me when I see Bass Pro Shops on the side of that car. Earth 2, Ty Gibbs has Kyle Busch as his best man when he gets married, says Jamie Schweitzer. That would be pretty hilarious. What sponsorship do you think Noah Gregson will have in 2024? Bass Pro Shops, Black Rifle Coffee, and possibly Wendy's. I heard someone play an accordion version of Post Malone Rockstar song and it sounds amazing. I haven't heard that one, but I actually I was listening to get ready to laugh. I was listening to Nickelback on the radio today, and the Rockstar song came on. And I remember back in the day when the Rockstar song came on, I was like, yeah, man, that's my jam. Like, we all want to be big rock stars. And I was listening to every single lyric to it now. And I was like, I can't relate to any of that. I don't want any of that stuff anymore. So it's crazy what happens as you get older. I was like, that song, I used to really, and it's still a good song. And I still listen to Nickelback. I have no qualms with that. I think everybody that says they don't listen to Nickelback is pretty much lying. They sold too many albums for people not to listen to them. Same thing with Creed. I think a lot of people still listen to Creed too. That being said, I think that as you get older, some of those songs you used to really like jam out to, you're like, oh man, I really could care less about this stuff now. But it's still a good song. It still goes pretty hard. Stone Cold Steve Austin was a guest on the Dale Jr. Download. It says in between the lanes. He was, and that was a pretty good episode. He couldn't fit into it, and he did he actually cut his hands doing somehow. So that was it was pretty cool that he was game to do that though. And Dale Jr. was actually on Stone Cold's show where he raced Stone Cold in the go-kart, and so that was a pretty cool crossover that they were both on each other's shows. Stone Cold had like running around with Stone Cold or something on USA Network or something like that a few years ago. New Year's Day. Sorry about that. BB says in between the lanes. Elite Precision saying he's going with Suarez on the poll. So there you go. Right now, the poll, Harrison Burton leading the poll right now at 37%, Suarez at 32%, and Austin Cindric at 25%. They just flipped 35% apiece for the 99 and the 21. Cindric next closest at 5% for Bad Luck Bowman. Let's see. It's Suarez and Burton, but Burton has more pressure incoming, says Danny Alex. That's probably a fair statement. I remember in 2019 where a Warriors investor in the NBA was banned from attending games for a year. I don't remember that, but you did remind me because you were talking about the NBA. The Donald Sterling dude for the Clippers, they actually he said a bunch of really bad stuff, and they took his ownership away from him basically because what he said was so not good. He was like 70 and his 20-something-year-old girlfriend, which it is what it is. That's his life, not mine. But she recorded him. She recorded him saying a lot of bad stuff and leaked it, and that was the end of his ownership. So and the end of their relationship, I would imagine. So there have been extreme cases where ownership is taken away. Is where I was going with that. That was like 2008, 2010, 2012, somewhere in there maybe. Look, I hit the 48 instead of 99. I'd say Suarez over Burton if Burton keeps wrecking in the 24 in the Daytona 500. Keeps wrecking the 24 in the Daytona 500. Penske will put him in that ride on a lifetime contract. Suarez has real pressure. I'm not sure that all those guys don't have a lot of pressure, except for Bowman. I feel like Bowman is safe. But I feel like the other three, I feel like they're and I feel like, man, Suarez, I feel like every single year except for last year, he's been on the hot seat. So it sort of is what it is as far as that goes. But it's going to be interesting to see which ones come back. And a big Penske fan, a friend of mine, has brought up several times. They're like, I could see a situation where they take Austin Cindric and put him over there where Scotty McLaughlin is driving and take Scotty McLaughlin and put him over here in the Cup Series. So he's postulating that you could possibly see a switch like that, which would be super interesting. Is that a 2022 Harvick, Michigan race win diecast? I see that for sure is what that is, and I'm super glad I bought it. I was going to buy every race win until he retired because I wanted to have the last win, and I'm super glad that I got it. And it's really cool that it's a red car too. So it was sort of an off. I know he ran the red car a few times, but not as often as he ran the light blue car. So it's cool that I've got that one because obviously that's the Atlanta win right there. Just in case you're wondering, I have a policy. I don't listen to anything more than 30 years old. It's a constant struggle to find the brand new band. Says Two Penny Pup. That's not necessarily a bad idea because you can just get caught up listening to the same old stuff over and over and over again. That being said, I have to break. I couldn't rule. I have to break that rule because I like Creedence. I like to listen to them. I'm a big Creedence Clearwater fan, and I like all of them. I like I don't know, Tupac and Biggie from back in the day. I got to listen to them. Wu-Tang Clan, dude, I spent so much money on Wu-Tang albums back in the day. I think I had all of them at one point. So there's some stuff that I've got to go back and get, but I'm with you. You do need to listen to new stuff too, to just sort of keep up with some of the new bands coming in. You couldn't not listen to Nickelback back in the day. That's why they get so much hate. I don't like them. Formulaic nonsense. I agree with you on the later albums. Their earlier albums are actually what I like. But they're where they talk about, look at that photograph or whatever. That was the album that it was just like super corporate, I guess is the best way to say it. But I feel like the albums before that were actually pretty good. So yeah, I do agree with you. The later stuff, but maybe the first two albums I'll say I actually liked. Going into incoming Daytona 500, first time in history. The past three Daytona 500 winners didn't win another race later on in the year. All three didn't finish in the top 10 in the final standings either, says Chrome Diesel. Hey, there's a good stat right there. I did not know that. I watched that Stone Cold Steve Austin show and saw the Dale Jr. episode. Yeah, it was pretty good. Forced sale, says Decoy. That's what I was trying to look for. The forced sale of the team. Donald Sterling, I think, was the guy's name. As long as Tim is in the building, I don't see Cindric move anywhere unless he requests it. I don't know, man, because Roger still runs the show. So and Roger, look, man, Roger is a competitive dude. Like if he, for any reason, thinks that you don't have it or that you should be somewhere else, so you got a better talent to go somewhere else, Roger Penske's not afraid to pull that trigger. He's a no BS type of guy. But that being said, you're right. Tim Cindric, he's put his trust and faith in Tim Cindric. So as long as Tim Cindric is there, you're probably right. But you could have said the same thing about Cole Custer and Stuart Haas. So it's always interesting to see how these things play out. But I do feel like there's a lot of pressure on the 2 car. But I don't feel like it's as much pressure as the 21 car or the 99. Signing SVG to Trackhouse just really ramped up the pressure on the 99. If SVG wasn't there, I feel like Suarez has another 2 or 3 years to sort of figure out the deal. Not that he had good seasons. He just he's not had an elite season just yet. Let's see. Oh, so Danny basically saying what I was saying. Cindric can get demoted, and yeah, even though his father is president at Penske, it's still possible. Look at Custer, since his father is an executive at SHR. So there you go. Exactly what I was thinking on that deal as well. Will Penske ever bring back their Xfinity team? If they, Roger would bring back the Xfinity team in a minute if he had a driver that he was really interested in. I just don't think there's a driver right now out there that interests him to develop. So I think that's the reason you don't see it. I make exceptions. Right now I'm reading Geddy Lee's book. Hey, there you go, Rush, my friend. Hard to beat them. New book, so it's a great opportunity to run through the old Rush catalog. So yeah, I did that. My first experience with Creedence was I'm sure my dad played it like back in the day when I was a little kid, but like the Big Lebowski, he's riding through and he's like beating on the hood, looking out my front door as a song playing. I'm like, man, that's a cool song. Like, I wonder who sings that. So this is back in the day, like when you had to like do the dial-up internet or whatever. So it took me forever, but it finally pulled up that it was Creedence. So I got the Greatest Hits album. And I had that for the longest time, and then I was like, I don't know. One day I was like, well, the Greatest Hits album is pretty good. So I wonder how many albums they actually had to get all these greatest hits. And they really didn't have that many albums because the band didn't last that long. But for the short time that the band lasted, when the Beatles broke up and split up, the band was actually the #1 band in the world. And it's crazy. Like every single one of their albums was really, really good. So it's pretty cool. And it's crazy to me that the lead singer, John Fogerty, I think is his name, he's the same guy that sang Put Me in, Coach. And the sounds of those two types of music, and John Fogerty wrote most of the music for Creedence, but the sounds of those two songs and those two styles of music are so far apart. So it's crazy that to me, when I found out that John Fogerty was the lead singer for Creedence, I was like, the Put Me in, Coach, I'm Ready to Play guy was the lead singer for Creedence. It just, I don't know, it blew my mind. But anyway, I can't think of the name of the album, but that's the one I'm listening to right now. Cosmos Factory. Golly, what a great album. That was the point of that. Cosmos Factory is a great album. That whole tangent, brought to you by whatever. Cosmo's Factory is a really good album by Creedence. I'm staying with SHR after Kevin Harvick left, and I will cheer on Josh Berry and Chase Briscoe. But I will be a loyalty fan, says John Forster. I like it. I like that you pull for your team. Same way with RCR and Richard Petty. I always pull for them. And then, of course, anybody named Kyle. So Kyle Weatherman, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kyle Sieg. Those are pretty much my picks. I find it hilarious. People think Harrison Burton is going to go dominate in a car that has 6 wins total since 1987. Says Bumblebee. That's a fair point too. And a lot of people have pointed out the 21 car that Ryan Blaney drove is not the same 21 car that everybody else drove, because he was getting a lot more Penske funding, because Penske was super interested in Ryan Blaney. My reading teacher in high school asked me who wrote Tom Sawyer. I answered Rush. I got detention, says Bumblebee. That's awesome. That's awesome. I saw a meme similar to that the other day, or maybe I saw it today. Let's see. CCR is called Country Rock or Swamp Rock, says B. Hey, so there you go. I actually didn't know that, so that's cool. Will Harvick be running the SRX series again this year, says Chris MV? That's a good question. I know he's going to run. He might run some one-off races for him, but I know he's going to run some Cars Tour. I'm not sure about the SRX. I hope he does, though. I can't wait to see all of the new bodies Ford and Toyota at Worldwide Technology Speedway, says John Forster. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big story, too. Who came out with the better body, for sure. Eagles are playing near me in February. Lowest ticket price, $275. Woo! Jesus. I have seen them 7 times. First time I paid $, which is crazy. It's crazy how much ticket prices have gone up, and just the cost of everything has gone up as time goes on. But that is crazy. $3,000. Because imagine being rich enough that $3,000 for a ticket. Like, yeah, we'll go check out the Eagles. Here's $3K per ticket. Imagine being that well off. I can't. Maybe some of you guys are, but I can't imagine being that well off. It's a good life. It's a good life for you guys who have it like that. I'm not complaining at all. Robbie Gordon is eyeing a Cup comeback. Oh, by the way, it's Robbie Gordon's birthday. So say happy birthday to the legend Robbie Gordon, the Thanksgiving Day winner Robbie Gordon. Let's see. From what I heard, it would be cool. I would love to see Robbie Gordon. If nothing else, I would love to see Robbie Gordon in the SRX. And then maybe do something like what Greg Biffle or somebody else did and come back and do a few Cup races. Worldwide Technology Speedway is really close to Phoenix Speedway, says John Forster. Jets released Dalvin Cook today. Hey, there you go. That's pretty spicy. He might be able to help out somebody if they can pick him up off of waivers or however it works after. I don't know exactly how it works after the trade deadline. I guess waivers would still be the same though, right? So pick him up on waivers. If he clears waivers, somebody can sign him as a free agent. So that'll be something interesting to track, especially somebody that maybe lost a running back in the season. All right, looks like we got to the end of the questions and comments. So I am going to peace out. We will see you next Tuesday for these live streams, and we'll keep them going